Hey, what's up, Psycho? How's it going, buddy? What's up, Sid? Oh, you was trying to be first? Well, you're at work, buddy. Just the fact you're here at all. Starting a new page. You're on your way home on the bus. I need more movement in her hair. It's not enough movement. Oh my goodness. Did I just. Man, Sid, you have the. Dude, you've been having the worst luck here lately. I think they're making you pay for that vacation you took. Did you just start? Do you mean on the page or streaming today? Psycho. Okay, buddy. I'll be here. I come prepared. I think that's what's going on, man. They're like making you pay for taking that little vacation you took. Not that you didn't deserve it. I was getting ready to say, hasn't this been going on since you see? I'm not eating them. There's nothing in it. It's empty. So those are the chips I'm not eating. That's my keep it handy for when you come on and ask me what chips I'm eating or not eating. Keeps dropping frames. Is the quality okay, guys? Because I keep getting these alerts that I'm dropping frames. Last time that happened, the stream went off, came back on. It's been a little bit slow here in our neighborhood this today, so I was going to try to stream a lot earlier in the day, but I could barely get on. You're going to change your tune now? It's all right. I'll just adjust. That's a military way, baby. Overcome and adapt. So no matter what you come up with, I'm going to adapt. There it is again, dropping frames. Hmm. What brand of spoon do you use to poke badgers with? It's called a it's called a spear.
3 out of 4 teen smokers who think they will stop smoking in 5 years don't. Smoke just a few, and cigarettes can start to control you. Go to therealcost.gov to find out more. A message from the FDA.
So you're gonna, Sid, you're probably gonna be stuck there again till like what, midnight, 12:30 again, dude. That's got to be getting old quick. Before there were spoons, there were spears. You poked. I guess that's a fork. That's the fork before it was a fork. Would a shovel qualify as a spoon? I mean, it's just a big spoon. This doctor's killing you, bro. You're gonna be an old man before this guy gets done with you. I'm gonna go with shovel. Shovel. Yes, but a shovel is like a very large spoon. Like technically I could eat out of that. You're not gonna buy it, are you? You're not. You're not going for it. You're like, I asked for a spoon and I want a spoon. Yeah, you was getting into that last night, man. Oh, is that why it's called a shovel? I thought it was called a shovel because you can shovel things with it, the act of shoveling. And since I shovel food in my mouth no matter what I use, I guess they're all shovels. Cause you should see me eat. I'm like this. I hold it like this, dude. Ah, like literally. I'm not this little. I don't do that. I don't tuck the napkin in here either. I do one motion. Plate here, whatever you want to call it, spoon, shovel, utensil there, and I go, ha, one motion. I kid you not, that's exactly how I eat pretty much everything. It's still a shovel. Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to defend my answer. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. I don't know what was up last night, but your stream kept just For the longest time, man, it was buffering so bad that I I just couldn't make out what we're using. A shovel as a spoon doesn't change the fact that it's still a shovel. A rose by any other name is still a rose. What's up, Tech? We're talking about spoons versus shovels. I seem to think they're pretty much the same thing. A shovel's just a large spoon, but he's telling me that a shovel by any other name is still a shovel. I don't know either. It eventually cleared up. That's when I was like able to remember when I was able to really like talk to you and stuff. Although your partners were. See, Tech, that's my thinking too. Obviously, Sid's never seen me eat because even if I had a brand of spoon, if he saw me eating with it, he'd say, "Dude, man, that's a shovel. It might be a spoon, but you're using it like a shovel." He'd probably also get about 10 feet away from me because he'd probably be afraid I'd eat his arm too. What's up, Kaz? I don't use forks. You've you've never seen anyone call the act of shoveling food into one's mouth with a spoon. You're not the greatest to move. All right, bro. We'll talk in a little bit. Yeah, that's why I'm streaming today too. I've been having one of them days myself. Everything I was planning on doing didn't get to do, and stuff I didn't want to do I had to do. So I'm streaming and drawing just to kind of get through the day. Let me tell you something, Sid. You may not have seen anybody call it that, but you've never seen anybody eat the way I eat. I redefined the whole definition of utensils. So how you doing, Tech? How's it going, man? Are you at work? You a little bit early for you to be home, isn't it?
3 out of 4 teen smokers who think they will stop smoking in 5 years don't. Smoke just a few, and cigarettes can start to control you. Go to therealcost.gov to find out more. A message from the FDA.
Yeah, you said that earlier. I've never seen you either. Are we the same? We just put the food in front of you and you just go at it. Yeah, I think one of his ferrets or his iguanas keeps. I meant he was talking about ferrets a while ago, but yeah, he was telling me earlier that he was searching for one of his iguanas. I guess it got out. It's too. Oh, you had one of those calls, Tech? Oh my goodness. One of those that was probably impossible to deal with, or made it seem that way. You don't think he got outside, do you? By chance? Sid, do you eat like this? Do you have the utensil in your hand and your little pinky up like that? Are you one of those guys? When you eat your soup, you go the opposite way and you tap your top of your bowl a couple times and bring it up to your mouth and sip it rather than just put it in there. Is that why you're embarrassed? Sid's just messing with me. He probably does the same thing I do. He sees food, just eats it. Where his body temperature drops. You don't use utensils. That's my guy right there, man. That's the way to eat. Just hand it. Utensils are for girls. Yes, man. I hope you find you. I hope you find him. And I mean, quick. Run out of energy and he could die because he can't move to get. Oh man, dude! If I lived near you, I'd help you find him. That's right. Just stick it in your mouth and eat it. I don't play with my food. I just get right in there and eat it. There ain't no sense of playing around with it. Oh my God, Kaz, man! I hope you find that. I hope you find that your iguana and everything is okay, and hope it's nothing wrong. Nothing's happened to it. All right, let's back out so I can see what I've got going on here. Turn the page. Kaz, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your iguana, man. That's that's rough, dude. Like I said, I hope you find him and her, he, whatever. I'm not sure whether it's a he or she, and I hope hope he's okay. Cause I know how much you love your pets, man. Come on, get in there. Just smoke it in your mouth. That's right, man. Utensils are for girls.
3 out of 4 teen smokers who think they will stop smoking in 5 years don't. Smoke just a few, and cigarettes can start to control you. Go to therealcost.gov to find out more. A message from the FDA.
It's like I get fussed at all the time because I don't see a need in getting a cup to pour a drink out of a 2-liter soft drink that I'm the only one that drinks it. I just drink right out of it, but I get fussed at for it. Put it in a cup. Like, why? Nobody else drinks it, it's just me. It's just a big bottle. Plus, you're dirtying up a cup. So, see, I'm doing two favors when I drink out. I'm not dirtying up a cup, and I get my drink. You're the type of guy where you put down a pizza pie and and go to get a drink, and when you come back, half the pizza's missing. You didn't hear nothing for hours. That's great. That's great, Sid. What do you mean, sorry you're late? You was playing video games and you was at school today, so you're not late. That's right. If I need ice, I might use a cup then, but otherwise, I'm chugging, man. If I don't get yelled at. Quit acting like you're uncivilized. Drink out of a cup. Maybe I am uncivilized. Look at my beard. Isn't that a sign that I'm uncivilized? That I've got testosterone out the roof issues? That's right, it's mine. Why do I need a cup to drink my own drink out of a 2-liter? That's right. That's next. Where does it stop? That's what I say too. Where does it stop? Welcome to the stream, Berserked. Glad you made it. How was GTA 5? Did you make level 100 yet? Man, Sid, I really hope Kaz finds his iguana, man. He has been looking for it all day. He had a buddy when he used to go watch movies at his house, and a girl would go to the bathroom, and he'd holler at them and say, "This is a man's house. Leave the toilet seat up when you're done." That's right. Since when did it become the universal law to put the seat down? Why can't they put the seat up after they're done? I'm all about that. It's about time men started being men again. Quit doing all these silly things like tucking napkins under their necks and sipping from cups and using spoons and sipping out of them. Just just grab it, and eat it. Ah. If they don't like it, get over it. We need to bring it back. Men being men. All this girly stuff. Let the girls be girly. That's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be girly and civilized. Whatever drink it is, some bottled milk, water juice. I just go. That's right. Just chug it. That's it. You drink out of a 2 liter, nobody else will want to touch it anyways. You drink out of a 2 liter, you claim it, don't you? That makes it yours, right? That's the way it used to be. Oh, you wanted some of that? Oh, well, I drank out of it. Guess it's mine. What level are you now? You got that right, Psycho. Is that right, Sid? It's the wooden spoon set. Okay. But couldn't a badger bite through the wood? I would think a 357 would be more appropriate to be dealing with a badger than a wooden spoon. Okay, Tech. Thanks for dropping in, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Good luck at work. Good luck dealing with those angry jabronis that call in mad because they don't know how to operate their own iPhones.
You and cigarettes can start to control you. Go to therealcost.gov to find out more. A message from the FDA.
I mean, Sid, I never saw you as a badger poker, but I mean, if that's your thing, if you're into poking badgers, okay. Learn something new. Okay, man. I'll see you when you get back. Who knew? Sid likes to poke badgers. Who knew? Tried chopsticks. That's right. You got that right, Cycle. They all need to learn how to eat with chopsticks. Let's turn your face so we can see what. You just got the assault rifle? Well, congratulations on the assault rifle. I know you've been wanting to get that. You never learned to use chopsticks? You know, once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. But yeah, getting the hang of it is that can be a process. Some people never quite get the hang of it. All right, nope, don't like that. You want to eat fast, no time for chopsticks. Hey, Berserk, when Sid gets back, you should ask him about Evolve. He's been playing it. See what he thinks about it. He had to go check on something the doctor needed, but he'll be back. I remember that time we were eating Korean barbecue. This means eats fast because of the protest. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I'd have done the same thing, probably. That's pretty funny, dude. Come on. You played Evolve? What do you think about it? It seems to be the game everybody's talking about right now. Some people love it, some people not so much. So it's kind of getting a little bit of mixed. But then again, most video games today pretty much get mixed reviews. You got people that love it, people that hate it. I know Sid seemed to be enjoying himself. He seemed to really enjoy the four against one aspect of the game. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much all it is. But I think it's getting criticized for some reason. I think gamers today seems to think that every video game just has to have this awesome, compelling story. If it doesn't have a story, it's not a good game. I kind of disagree with that. I think games are supposed to be fun first. I don't care if it has a good story or not. If it's not fun to play, what's the point of it? So, to me, story is having a big epic story like The Last of Us, things like that. It's important to me. Because if I'm not having fun playing it, it can be the greatest story in the world. I'm not going to play it. I don't play games because I want great stories. I read books for that. That's why I read. But that's me. That's the type of gamer I am. I want to have fun when I'm playing. And I'm not saying you can't have fun in games that have big epic stories, but I'm just saying that a lot of gamers think that is the defining thing in a video game. If it doesn't have a story, then it's not a good game. And I disagree. I think that any game can be fun whether it has a story or not. A story to me is a bonus. If it has a great story and it's fun, fantastic. But if it doesn't have a great story, but it's super fun to play, that's what a video game is supposed to be. I think the fun factor for video games is being left out when people criticize games anymore. They think that it has to be a epic story, and that's just absolutely not true. Same thing goes with just mind-blowing graphics. I don't think all video games have to have mind-blowing graphics either to be fun. I mean, look at Minecraft. Minecraft doesn't have mind-blowing graphics, but I'm going to tell you what, you start playing Minecraft and you start really building something awesome, you have fun. That's right. It's a game. It's supposed to be a game first and foremost. And what's funny, Psycho? Welcome back. Welcome back, Berserk. What's funny, Psycho, is the ones that are complaining about no stories in video games, that video games have to have stories, are not the younger generation who was around when games didn't have stories. It's the people that used to play video games back when Sonic and Super Mario Brother and Donkey Kong and all that, they didn't have epic stories. Cubert, Tetris, Pong, games like that. None of them had stories, but but they had fun playing it. But the same people now, they're grown. They act like video games have to have stories to have fun. And I'm sitting here thinking, wait a minute, I remember, you know, games used to just be games. That's true, buddy. That's true. I understand it. It's it's just it's the natural evolution of video games. Where they started becoming more and more theatrical and more epic. You know, because gamers were changing, the audience you know was growing. It became bigger and bigger and bigger. So video games just started evolving into you know evolving with that, but so should the mentality of a lot of the gamers that are so hard on games now. The first and foremost, if it's not fun, it doesn't matter if it's got a great story, and vice versa. If it's got a great story and it's not fun, why play either one? But I love video games, and I love so many genres. It's not even funny. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. How's the music, guys? Is it too loud? Not too loud. Too loud. Distracting. Not distracting. Like I said, I'm not watching my stream because it's too busy doing the work. But gaming improvement is excellent, but look at people making it. Some of them have a feedback of nothing. That's just all crap. Push themselves a limit, even though they gave it. That's true. That's true. A lot of people that talk about games these days, especially people that think they know how to review a game. Um, you know, the evolution of gaming has changed, but the evolution of people that review games seems to still be prehistoric. Um, Not saying all people that review games, because there are a lot of people that have evolved with gaming and they've evolved their way of reviewing. Because you have to change your opinions and the way you look at video games as the video games develop, because they're not the same as they used to be. There's a whole new thing called the social aspect of video gaming, like multiplayer online, the social hub that is present in video games today. They weren't like that 10, 15 years ago. But the people that are reviewing video games, or a lot of people that are reviewing video games, still want to approach them the same way they did back then, and that's why you got people hating on games. A lot of these reviewers these days, oh, it doesn't have this great, epic, compelling story. It just so therefore I'm not going to give it a good rating. Although I did have a lot of fun playing this game. You know, it's crazy. Then you got these people that want to criticize games and act like um, because because it's missing a story, then they automatically hate the game. Even if they had fun playing the game, they're not going to admit that they had fun playing the game because it didn't have a story. There's a lot of that goes on. But you know, I keep saying it, video games are for everybody. Just because you don't like it, that doesn't mean that 1,000 other people won't. That's right. It's like a taco with more ingredients. Video games have gone from tacos to taco supremes now. There's just so much more stuff on it. Used to be just the shell and the meat. Now it's shell, meat. It's got some lettuce on it, got some cheese on it, got some tomatoes on it if you want. Got some sour cream on there if you want it. It's the same thing. That's how video games have evolved. You can't just talk about the shell and the meat now. You got to talk about all the other stuff too. I think for me personally, I respect just about every video game that's ever been made simply because I'm an artist. And making a video game is a difficult thing to do. So, if somebody has an idea and they put it down and they come up with a video game, it might not be one that I personally like, but I still respect them for it because they took it from here and made it something. Because a lot of people wouldn't even do that. A lot of people, they talk about making video games, but they don't make video games. So I give a lot of respect to any creator that creates a video game. I don't have to like them and I don't have to like their video game, but I do respect them for it because it is an art form. It's just like music. I don't like every band that ever comes out, but I do respect musicians, all musicians. And that is why the guys that I game with and stuff, I love gaming with because they enjoy games for the sheer fact of having fun playing it and playing it with each other and having those wow moments together. Yep, she's upside down, but it makes making these lines easier. Oh, the good thing about being able to turn the artboard. Alright, let's back out some. Good thing about flipping your artwork upside down too is it's a good way to check yourself and see if your proportions are off because you're looking at it from a different perspective. Is this eye leaning too far this direction? Is this arm too long? Is her nose crooked? Things like that, man. So flipping your artwork upside down is a lot like the old trick that artists used to use when they would stick their artwork up in a mirror or hold it up to a bright light so they could see it from behind. That way they're seeing it backwards and they can spot things a lot easier. Upside down can do the same thing. Because you're looking at it from a different perspective than the way you put it on the page. You'll be glad when your artwork comes to life. You know, you just need to work a little bit more, buddy, because you are not, you're not too far from getting there. I took a good look at your artwork yesterday, and you have some pretty good stuff in there, man. But again, man, art is like video games. It's just like movies, just like anything else. It's all subject to people's opinions. Some people are gonna love it, some people are not, and you just have to, you have to just accept the fact that some people aren't gonna like what you do, no matter what you do, and it can get hurtful sometimes, because we're artists and we do take things, we do take our artwork pretty serious, and we want people to like our artwork. And so if somebody comes along and they criticize you, you know, in a really harsh way, it can affect you pretty deeply. Some artists, it affects them so deeply that they stop producing art, and that's a tragic thing. That's right. Keep moving forward. Let the haters hate, and you just keep doing your thing. Uh, this is Artwork is subjective, man. It's all a matter of how somebody sees it. There's no. It's what I tell people. It is art, and first and foremost, it is art, and there is no right way. There's no one right way to do things, if that makes any sense at all. There's a lot of books on how to do things, but that's not the definitive way to do it. There's always a different way. Um, so I always look at it that way. That it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. So don't put a lot of stock into the technical things. Just draw. Just get in there and do the work. Learn what you can from as many people as you can and add that to your work and just keep growing. And you will get better and better. I used to teach this uh, to the county that I live in. I used to travel around all the different schools and teach art because they're in real need of a good art teacher here. Basically, what they have here in the school system are it's right. When you're being creative, just be creative. But most of the artists here in this county are artists that they glue things together, and they're more like it's more hobby, like craft art. Um, stuff that people make with crochet needles and gluing buttons and gluing sticks together and then painting those. But as far as sitting down and teaching fundamental art like the basic shapes, your basic colors, how to make your secondary colors, how to blend, how to shade, uh, perspective, because a lot of the art teachers here, they don't even understand perspective. They don't understand how to make something look like it's back here and something look like it's up here. Um, So they don't teach that. They teach all these other little crafty things. So that's kind of why they hired me for a while to kind of go all to all the different schools to teach them the fundum of art. The music is too low. See if that's better. If it's not, I can turn it up a little more. Alright, let's back out and see what we got going. Seems like the hair is flowing really well. To me, guys, there's absolutely nothing in this world that beats sitting down, taking a blank piece of canvas, paper, whatever you start with, and creating something yourself. Something you did. You sat down, you took the time, you took paintbrush to canvas, pencil to paper, whatever it is, and you create something. It is one of the best feelings in the world when you get done. Yes, I do. If you look, uh, the this is all pretty much sketched out. Um, see where my lines are all broken here. They're overlapping here. They're gapped and stuff here. Got one line crossing over the other. Stuff's just not, like that right there, where I sketched that in there and it was a mess. And then I kind of just sketch it all in there, and then I come in and clean it all up. See, for example, like this. Just I'm going to sketch off here to the side so you can see what I'm talking about. Like, for example, if I'm going to do an arm, I just kind of this is a guy's arm, so bear with me. I'm dealing with you know the book I'm working on is my own series, uh, but the main character is a female warrior, and that's what I deal with in this book. And then you just kind of from here you just kind of you know and then from there, like I said, the same thing I'm doing on this drawing. um, I'll just come in here and I'll start cleaning it up. I'll add the details like this right here. And then you got this muscle here. You got this muscle here. Need a good computer for what purpose? And then I come in here and I'll do this, or I'll come in here and do this, clean that up. There's a vein there. And then you got your forearm muscles. It helps to understand anatomy too. You have that right there. And you got that there. And as you can see, before long, it starts to clean up nice. And that's how I do it. But, and you're kind of seeing the same process here. I just come in and I kind of figure everything out, and then I'm going to delete that. Still not loud enough. Digital artwork. No, you just have a computer that can run basic programs like Photoshop. I'm actually using Manga Studio 4 EX, and my computer is powerful enough to run that. I have just pretty much just a standard basic computer, basic PC. It just has a terabyte of memory, and I need the memory because of all the artwork I do, and I store it, and I ship it off to the publisher to get printed. So I need a lot of memory space. But as far as this is not a gaming PC or anything like that, so it doesn't need to be high, and like graphically powerful or anything like that. So, I mean, if you get one that's like that, great, but you don't have to have one. Just anything that'll run a basic program like Photoshop. I went with a high memory because, a terabyte. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, there's, 3-4 terabytes now, but all right, hang on. I'll turn the music up a little bit more. Right, you just need, yeah, right. Just a standard computer, man. One you can probably pick up at Best Buy, Walmart, or anything like that at a decent price. I would recommend that you get one that has at least a terabyte of memory though, because digital artwork burns up a lot of memory, and if you do a lot of it, you'll find yourself without any memory pretty quickly. Especially when you do the artwork I do, because I do 11 by 17. Even though it's on the computer, it's 600 DPI, 11 by 17, and you can imagine I do graphic novels. You can imagine how much memory I burn up by the time I get done with a graphic novel, which is about anywhere between 60 to 100 pages. Uh, each page at 600 DPI, you know, I needed a lot of memory space. And then when I get done with a project, I actually dump it into like Dropbox and stuff like that, like a cloud storage service, and then I'll take it and burn it to a disk, so that I also have a disk version of everything that I've worked on in that particular graphic novel, and then I also have it backed up on a cloud service somewhere, and then my publisher also has a backup of it. So there's like 4 or 5 backup copies floating around, and then I just get it off my hard drive, and then I start on the next project, because it will burn up a lot of memory. How's the sound now, Berserk? Yeah, I mean that's what I went with. I'm just. Is it loud enough now? Is it? Because I did turn it up a little more. Um, I'm not a big PC gamer, anyways, but a lot of my friends are, and they're like, man, you should get a gaming PC. It'll run your stuff that's on it. Um, it'll run your programs, and you'll have plenty of power, and it'll still do the things you do. And they're right, it will. Uh, but I spent more money on my tablet, which is this thing, than a lot of them spend on their computers. I need this more than I need a high-powered gaming PC, because gaming doesn't earn me a living. It's not what pays my bills. It's what I do for fun. So I spend more money in this type of stuff and my job, my profession, and so I don't really spend a lot of money on gaming PCs, whereas that's what they do. They spend all their money on their gaming PCs. I spend all my money on, equipment, stuff that I need for my job, going to conventions, because I have to pay to go to those, I have to pay to go to conventions and things like that. So I don't really spend a lot of money on a high-end gaming PC, because I play video games on consoles. It's a Wacom tablet, so I'm actually able to draw on the top of it and see what I'm working on. So it's like I'm drawing on a piece of paper, but I'm actually drawing on the monitor. I can actually see my monitor in the window, and I'm touching it and drawing it, so it's just like I'm really drawing on paper. So it's basically a tablet and a monitor combined. Got a piece of. Okay, Berserk. I'll see you in a few minutes. I know it's getting close. But yeah, Psycho. This is a Wacom tablet. It's called a Cintiq. I have the Cintiq 12, um, and basically it is a monitor and a tablet, like a drawing tablet, all combined into one. So you can. And like I said, I spend I spend more money on my equipment for my profession. Um, I spend probably uh, just this tablet alone. When I got it, it was a about a $1,300 tablet. It's just this thing here. If you can see it, I got it upside down, but this piece of equipment right here, just this one thing, was retailing for about $1,300. Just that. That's not counting the money that I spent buying Manga Studios, plus buying Photoshop, um, plus the computer itself. Um, right there alone, you're looking at well over $2,000. That's just for that stuff. Now, there's people that spend that kind of money easy on their gaming rigs, and which is great and everything, but I just don't do it because, well, for one thing, I don't make money playing video games. I'm not that good. I can hold my own, but I'm not gonna get paid to play them. So instead, I spend all my money on my art supplies. So I have to take the cheaper route for gaming. I have to buy the console, and I still get to play video games. I just don't have to spend an extra $3,000 to do it. I just spent $400. I'd rather spend $3,000 on better art equipment, not a PC. But that's because I'm an artist. But I got some buddies, man, like Caslin and Sidious, which I'm sure you've talked to in the stream. Those guys have some amazing computers, man. Their PCs, I'm envious of them. They have really, really nice equipment. Nice. And it serves their purpose. That's why they spend the money on it that they spend on it. It does what they want. They game on them. And they do other things on them too, but they primarily game on them and stuff. And they stream their gameplay from them and things like that. So, you know. And it shows because their streams look really, really good. Probably better than mine ever thought about, because this ain't meant for streaming, it's meant for drawing. Alright, let's turn this back around. But I love doing this. This is what I love to do, man. I love creating stuff, and then for me to be able to be lucky enough, and I say lucky because luck has a lot to do with it too. But I am actually getting an opportunity to write and draw and ink my own comic book of my own creation, and it's getting published this summer. So as soon as I get it done, it gets sent off to the colorist, and then I start on my next one. And then when the colorist gets done, then it gets lettered, and then once it's done lettering, it gets printed. So sometime this summer, this book will be out along with another graphic novel that I did last year, or finished up over the winter. And it's coming out this summer as well. It's actually being colored right now. So that'll be 2 books, because I'm the co-creator of that book. Like I said, I consider myself pretty fortunate that I get to do what I love for a living. A lot of guys have to do something else other than their art to make a living. So if I can get on a stream and show people what I do, and maybe hopefully I learn something and maybe they learn something from it, awesome. So I'm always up to learning something new, and I'm hoping that people come in, they see what's going on. They're like, hey, did you know you can do this in that program? I didn't know that. Okay.
all I wanna do. It's all I wanna do. Believe, it's all I wanna do. Believe, it's all I wanna do. Believe, it's all I wanna do. Do you believe that dreams they can come true? Will you accept the apology that is long overdue? Well, I question what forever is, and I know you do too. When the answer's right in front of me, believe it's all I wanna do. You not trust you not to break out students to wait out. I know you not trust you not to break out students to wait out. Wanna know you not trust you not to break out students to wait out. I wanna get I wanna get I believe it's all I wanna do. Believe, it's all I wanna do.
Alright guys, I'm back. I'm going to check the quality, make sure everything looks okay on the stream, and then we'll get back to the art. If it will load. Yep. Alright, we're back. Psycho, you're still hanging tough, huh, buddy? Well, I'm glad you're here, man. I appreciate you coming out here. I really do. All right, let's get back to work. So, what do you like to draw most, Psycho? Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Rough days at work. It seems like it's a lot of people are having a rough day today, man. Must be something about the moon alignment or something. I don't know. Maybe the stars aren't aligning right for people today, including myself. And that is why I'm here doing this. Trying to do something I love and change my outlook for the day. Alright, let's get rid of that. Bit of a tip, Psycho. Whenever you're working on women, if you get a chance in your artwork, and that's why I'm changing. That's why I changed this. You notice I moved the hair out of the way. Um, if you get an opportunity, anytime you can get an opportunity, if you're working on female artwork or women in your artwork, if you can do it, try to show their neck. It's just one of those subliminal things that just adds a little more attraction to your artwork. A woman's neckline needs to be visible. It adds to the appeal, especially if you're trying to draw, gorgeous women. Um, which in my case, I think pretty much all women are gorgeous in their own way, man. They're a whole lot different than we are. Their mannerisms are different. There's just something about them, and I want that to reflect in the artwork, So I try to do little things like that, where I like to show the neckline. I don't like to cover. I don't like to cover it if I don't have to. Like I said, it adds more to the appeal of the woman. And when you're doing hair, hair moves. It flows. And that's the sort of thing that a lot of people talk to me about when they're watching. You know, they're like, "Wow, man, how do you do your hair?" And I basically, you see what I do. I kind of lump them. I kind of do these little sections, like the hair going this way, then the hair going that, because hair doesn't go one direction. Hair moves. She's underwater. She's sinking. Um, and when this is colored, you're going to see a lot of air bubbles and stuff going up. So as she's sinking, her hair's not going to go straight up, because of the bubbles, right? The bubbles create movement. So as she's sinking, and the bubbles hit her hair as she's coming, as she's descending into the water, it creates this this movement, this S movement. And so that's why you see her hair doing this number here, twisting and turning, um, and that's the way hair would naturally flow if you were in the real environment instead of just in the comic book. Oops. Hands are also important when you're drawing women. I'll give you an example. Like if you're illustrating women and then you're going to illustrate a man. If you're illustrating females, their hands need to be more open, you know, doing gestures like this, or like this, or this, something like that. A man's needs to be more like this. Hands are more, a little more tension, more drawn, maybe even the fist. Um, you know, like tension in the hands, um, showing power, and that's the only way when you're doing artwork with a male to show kind of aggression, to kind of show the difference. The hands are broader, the fingers are shorter, the fingers are wider, the knuckles are more pronounced. Um, the bones in the hands may stick up more. You show tension. Um, when you're dealing with females, you want the hand more open, more relaxed, more gestury, subtle, longer, skinnier fingers. No, you don't want to show the bones in the hands. Things like that. You definitely don't want to have big, gaudy knuckles. And their hand movements are more subtle and less tense. So you want to think the opposite. So even when they're like, if they're reaching for if a man's reaching for something to drink, it would be more like this, something like that. If a woman's reaching for a drink, it's more open-handed, hand turned more up, more relaxed, kind of bent at the wrist, things like that. It adds a little more, believability in your artwork. On top of that, it adds a sense of, if you're dealing with women, it adds a sense of sensuality. With men, it adds more of a sense of power, anger, whatever, aggression. Not that all men are angry, but it gives that illusion. Because if you really watch a man and you really watch a woman, we do things differently. We do tend to kind of reach hard for things. We don't think we do. It's just the way we hold our hands. Hands are one of those things that, if I can give you any advice as an artist, is pay close attention to, because if you'll notice, most people speak with their hands. So hands are language. Just like I'm doing right now, to emphasize a point, to communicate. We use them for sign language. People use their hands for everything. If you could tell what kind of a mood a person is a lot of times by their hand gestures. So watching and paying attention to hands can really help your artwork. So shading, how do you apply it? You have to remember where your light source is coming from. So if your light is coming from above and hitting the top of the hand, everything under the hand should be darker. The other thing is, unless there's absolutely no light source, you will see the edges of anything. Like, for example, we're talking about hands. Let's talk about hands. Okay? You can't see it because the light source is different for you, but the back side of my hand should be darker than this side, because my light is coming from over here. And you can see there's a line right here where it's darker and lighter on each finger, all the way to the back edge of my finger. In the palm of my hand and this side of my hand is a lot lighter. So you wouldn't want any shading on this side of your hand. You'd want all of your shading back here. But don't just do it solid black. You kind of want to leave places where your knuckles might be and things like that. Kind of leave it open a little bit. But you need to think about where your light is coming from. Where the light is coming from, that's the lightest. That's the lightest. That's where there's going to be less shadow. It's the underneath side where you're going to have your shadow. And you also have to remember, when you're dealing with shading, there's a thing called secondary light, which is the light that is reflective. It's a reflective light. which light bounces off of everything. So that's why I keep saying, don't completely black all the way out to a shade all the way to an edge of anything, because there's always a light source, a light source bounce. Like this light is hitting the front part of my hand, but it's also bouncing off of this thing. You can't see it; it's off camera, but I have a overhead light from my desk right here. That light is also hitting that and reflecting off and hitting the back side of my hand, so you can kind of see an outline. So there's two sources of light: the strong source, which is your main light, and then your secondary reflective light, which is where the light is bouncing back, which is primarily is usually underneath. So it's under the back side of where you're shading, the complete opposite side. But that light source is way less intense because it is reflective light. So that light source that's coming back is very faint. So just keep that in mind. That's why I say don't, just kind of leave an edge on your darker side. Don't completely shade all the way to the edge. Kind of leave a thin area where that secondary light is hitting. I'll show you in just a second. Give me a second to get this hand done, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's better to show you than to just tell you. You're welcome, man. But like I said, give me a second here, and let me get this done, and I will actually demonstrate how that works. See, it's talking about the female fingers, their hands. They got longer, slender fingers. Yeah. If this was a man's hand, I would be drawing a whole lot broader of a palm. And this part of the hand would be broader. It would also be shorter. This from here to here is shorter too than a woman's. This part of the woman's hand is more narrow and longer than a man's, and their fingers are longer, usually by almost a whole tip. They have much more narrow fingers and longer. Okay, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. You see here what I'm talking about? See underneath her arm? Even though that's her um, it's underneath her arm is where the rest of her breast is. Because her arm is like this, it's pretty much blocking all the light off, so that's why it's so dark, you know. Plus the other thing is, you know, I'm not trying to get the comic book censored, so I actually improvise with the shading probably a little more than it would be in real life, but that's because I'm trying to obscure. I don't want any nudity shown in the comic because this comic is going to sell to people of all ages. So I'm just hinting at it without actually showing it. You see how I did that? This finger in that where her hand is, there should have been a shadow underneath that. Same thing with her chin up here. You'll notice right here. The light's coming from up above her, so her chin would cast a shadow on her neck because it's blocking the light. My beard would do that. Yeah, man, if you have, like I said, if you have any questions about anything, and if I can help, I will, man. I have no problem answering questions. Um, Talking about video games, talking about movies, talking about comic books, talking about sports. I don't care, man. I'm like a psychologist in that way. I'll talk about anything to anybody about whatever. I don't really care. We can talk about splitting atoms if you want to. Particle accelerators. I don't care.